Hey everybody, today we're going to make chocolate covered cherries, and I have really been looking forward to making these. They are so delicious, especially homemade. The ones you get in the store I think are really good, but the homemade ones are really wonderful. So anyway, I was going to show you how I drain and dry my cherries. I have two bowls this size, and I take 2 or 3 pieces of paper towel. Well, let me show you with this bowl. And I put my cherries in there and let them sit a while. And then I take my other bowl that has the clean paper towels in it, and I turn it upside down on it, and I turn them over. And then I have done this several times, and I just did it a few minutes ago. Then you take your old towel that you just flipped it, throw it away, get a clean towel, and you keep doing this until your cherries are as dry as you'd like for them to be. So anyway, that's how I do that. And we will go ahead and look in the bowl and get this recipe going. So I did not count these, but this recipe will do around 50 or 60 cherries, depending on how thin you do the dough and all that. But you start with 3 tablespoons of butter. And if you don't measure this pretty accurately, then your confectioner sugar won't be right, and then your recipe will be harder to deal with, because these are not the easiest things to roll. Then you take corn syrup, light corn syrup, and you use 3 tablespoons, and this is about empty, so I turned it upside down. So I'm going to squeeze out 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to put just a little additional, because when you go to get it out, it all doesn't come out of the spoon. I'm at the bottom. I'm going to just set that like that. And get the rest of the corn syrup out if I can. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get just this little bit left in here out. And that ought to compensate for what was left in the spoon each time. Alright, so now we're just gonna, your butter should be softened, and it's a little cold in my house. I like it a little bit cold. And so my butter's not real soft. But you need to stir this until your butter has mixed in with your corn syrup. And I've made these for probably, I want to say, close to 40 years. And this is what I recognize as the most popular Christmas candy. To me, this is it. So what do you all think is the most, what do you, I can't even get it out. What do you feel is the most popular Christmas candy, or what do you associate with Christmas? I think associate's the word I was looking for. Alright, we have that mixed good. And now we're going to put 2 cups of confectioner sugar. This the white powdered sugar. So here's 1 cup. Here's 2. Trying to measure that pretty accurately. Alright. So now you want to just stir this up. And to this, I don't know if you remember in my haul that I did, but I had mentioned I use some of these French vanilla coffee flavorings. And it's not a huge taste difference, but you can taste a little vanilla. So we'll start with 3. And I think I might have put too much, so I'm going to put a little more flour. I'm going to put 1 more cup of flour, and all that means is that I get to do more cherries. It's not going to hurt the recipe at all, but what I'm going to do so I can get it good and mixed up is I'm going to do it by hand. And this feels so delicate. And when you roll your cherries, if you'll put a little of the confectioner sugar on your fingers or in the palms of your hands, you can roll your cherries so much easier. They just won't stick. And now this is going to be perfect. So you just keep stirring. If you don't want to use that vanilla coffee creamer, you know, you don't have to. I just think it gives it just a little bit of a different flavor. So I am going to put this in the refrigerator for a while and let it get a little bit stiff and easier to work with. And here it is. And anyway, when it has sat in the refrigerator for a little while, I'll come back and we'll start covering our cherries with the filling. So I'll see you in a few minutes. So we're back, and we're gonna go ahead and prepare to dip our cherries. So I'm going to show you how I do it. And I have a small pot here because I don't want to have to dip real deep into it. I just wanted to show you, these are the cherries, the maraschino cherries, and I've used probably half of that. And I use this almond bark. I like the taste of this a lot. And so this is what I've used for years, but you use whatever you want to. And I just take it and break it on the side of my counter. And it comes in these big blocks. So I'll put, well, it doesn't want to break. There. I'll put about half of the chocolate in there and let it melt. And along with the chocolate, I'm going to add to half of that pack of chocolate, and you can see how much is in there, and it is a 1 pound 8 ounce, it's 24 ounce container. I'm going to add about this much, and that would be like a heaping teaspoon of just shortening or lard. You don't taste it. It helps thin down your chocolate a little bit, where it's a little more manageable, and it just really helps with the dipping. So I'm going to put this on medium, and I'm going to let it melt down, and when it melts down, I'll come back. But I know what I could be doing while it's melting. We could be wrapping cherries. And I'm not flashing. Oh, I am flashing. Okay. So let's wrap a couple cherries. So here's my dough. And I'm going to take a little, I have a bowl here with some powdered sugar. I put some on my hand. I take a pinch of the dough. You could even take a little more than what you think you would want, and lay it on your hand and mash it out. Take your cherry by the stem and just lay it in the center, and by all means keep your fingers with powdered sugar on them, and wrap up around your cherry. Give it a little roll, and that's it. It's a little bit lumpy. Put a little more powdered sugar in your hand, and make it a little smoother if you don't want lumpy cherries. And anyway, that's it. So while I'm going to make up a few and set them over here to the side, so while the chocolate is melting, I'm going to be making up a few cherries, and then we'll dip them. So I'll be back in a second. So we'll go ahead and start dipping some of the cherries. The chocolate has melted, and I have this just as low as it can possibly go. And I have a few of my cherries done here. These are the new dipping tools I got off of eBay. They're by Wilton, and they say these really make dipping a lot easier. We'll see. But I'm just going to set it down there and then cover it with my spoon. And I don't really see where that did much of anything. I'm not real impressed with that. So I'm just setting the cherry down. I'm taking my spoon and kind of tapping it to try to make a little of the excess go off, and then I'm setting it over here on the pan. Let me try this one, see what it does. And I'm probably not even doing it right. I'm just used to the old-fashioned way of how I do it. Maybe with some other candy that'll work, but with these, I just don't see it. So, just have your heat real low. I just hold it by the stem and pour the chocolate over it. And try to get off what I can of the excess. And that's it. When you start getting low on your chocolate, just add a couple more bars or another pack of chocolate to it, and a little more Crisco if you decide to use that, and just dip away. And when I get all of the cherries dipped, I'll bring you back and let you see. And I'll tell you now, because I don't know that I'll remember to tell you when I bring you back. But if you immediately start eating these, you will not see that clear syrup that's in them. But if you let these sit for, even after a few days, you'll see the syrup starting to form. And you know, when you bite into a store-bought chocolate-covered cherry, it has that white and the clear syrup. So if you wait a while, a few days at least, then yours will have that too. But anyway, when I get these finished, I'll come back and let you see them finished. See you in a minute. We are finished with our chocolate-covered cherries, and I'll go ahead and show those to you. They turned out beautifully. And I cannot wait for a couple, at least 2 days, but maybe a little bit longer, to pass so that the syrup in these develop. And they would be really good right now, but I want them to have time for the syrup to develop. So this is what they look like. And I'm real proud of how they turned out. I'll give you a tip when you're rolling these. When you mash the little bit of the dough in your hand and you lay your cherry in it, and then you push the dough up around it, if you want to go ahead once you get the dough pushed up but you don't even have it actually to the stem yet, if you start rolling it in your hand, that dough will distribute and almost automatically just wrap all the way around the cherry. And it doesn't take but a second to get the cherry wrapped. And I hope that made sense the way I said it. But anyway, that's a little tip. But these turned out great. And I think I said I'm not going to try it because the cherry liquid had not developed and all. But this is a great recipe. And I know that you'll love it. One more quick view of them. And so I hope you get a chance to try those. I know you'll really enjoy them. And thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.